what old Charlie wants to see. What's up, YouTube? So today we're going to be working on the old 1976 Chevy Love that I call the Vegas truck, because ever since I bought it, it's been a gamble, and right now I'm still down on the monies. But today it's do or die moment on that old 1.8 Isuzu motor. That's right, today we're going to assess whether it can be rebuilt. And what I mean by rebuilt, I mean poor man's rebuild. Dingle ball hone, no machine work, but we'll put new bearings, seals and stuff like that. We need to assess all that today, and if it can get that, I got a cart full of parts ready to click send. That's all I need to do, and we'll have parts coming this way. But if that motor's junk, then we're gonna snatch it out and give it the football punt, and we'll figure out something else on that point. All right, guys, the sun's just now coming up, so I'm gonna do a few things off camera, and then we gonna dive right off into it. Let's get to it. Mug time. Well, guys, that ain't good. I just took the radiator cap off and she empty. And in the last video when I ran this thing, it was full. I see no evidence of a leak. We've already bypassed the heater core. Where did it go? Well, today maybe we'll find out. So we got a few things off already. Pull that valve cover off, and there's a lot of milky stuff in there. Is that evidence? Is that evidence that thing is junk? But it could be condensation, because there is a port on top of the valve cover that's been open this whole time, and we've had a lot of gray, cloudy, humid days. That could be the possibility. I hope that's what it is. We'll go ahead and pull the number one sparkler. Get this thing set to top dead center. That way I can mark that camshaft and see where all that stuff goes. So let me get all that marked up, zeroed out and all that stuff, and then we'll start tearing this head off. Yep. I don't know. That sparkler is saturated in either oil, fuel, water, or all three. I don't know. Yeah. I think to make this easier, I'm gonna go ahead and pull the fan, belt, get all that stuff out of the way, and then I can easily access that crank bolt. All right. Breakfast is here. Cinnamon roll time. There you go. Yep, lost that. That is a rinky-dink fan. All right, crank pulley bolt. Go ahead and rotate that. Got the number one sparkler out. Let's get this at top dead center. Well, you can just hear that blow by, can't you? Oh yeah. Check out the previous videos on this truck. You'll see why we're doing what we're doing. And I think we're right there. I think we're there. Well, guys, this is interesting. But yeah, the dot and arrow are down there. I really don't understand what they're pointing at. There's the crank mark, that little V-shaped. Ignore the other hickeys. But that big V right there is lined up with that zero. I'm gonna make a mark. I've already cleaned out with some brake cleaner, because I'm gonna need to remove this cam. I'm just learning as I go, guys. What is the likelihood none of these break? Take a guess. Yeah, you're right. Probably 60% of all of them. All right, here we go. Put a little bit more skeetum juice on it. Let's see what happens. Well, that sounded good. That's good. That's good. What? You know, it's always that back one. It's never the ones that are right here. It's always that back one that you can't get to. All right, survey says. What? No way. All right, buzz these off. Guys, I call that a win. Now it's time for me to get up under the truck. I had to remove the flannel. I don't want to ruin it. I got to get to those 2 bolts that hold the exhaust manifold to the exhaust pipe. It's guaranteed they're probably going to break. So I'm going to need to jack this thing up. Might as well go ahead and drain the oil. And I got to remove that tie rod link. So we're eventually going to have to drop the oil pan so I can push those pistons up. So let me get some safety glasses to protect the old chicken eyes. And then we'll get up under here. Let's assess this oil. See what comes out of here. Ooh. Yeah. Look at that. Now we're getting somewhere. Maybe it's just a blown head gasket. Or maybe it's worse. Vegas truck. Yeah. For the win. I'm not winning, but the truck is. Let's see if this impact will do it. Ooh. Oh yeah. See that smoke? One mow. Uh-oh. Do I not have the right angle for the dangle? Remember, I always got a bigger tool if you don't come off. Oh yeah. That's what I'm thought. Well, there's always that one that's got to break, don't it? Oh. Cover your mouth when you pull that off. Yeah, see that? That's water. I wonder what's going on there. We'll find out. There we go. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Sprocket is off. Crap. Step stool almost went out from under me. Oh. Let me pull y'all in, show you what I'm looking at. Them cylinders are soaked in oil. Them rings, especially the oil rings, ain't doing nothing. Let me pull this head gasket off, if I can, see what it looks like up under that. Mainly the block surface. And then we'll go to the workbench and look at the head. There she goes. Not seeing any evidence of a blown gasket. I think that might just be me trying to pry it up. It's hard to tell. Maybe there? I don't know. This gasket's no count. I mean, you know, it's bad, so that might be the culprit. But I still gotta assess this once I pull the intake off, and I'm about to go check out the block. This is a face. It's not liking what it's seeing. Anybody got a 350 I can put in here? I'll get a little stock 350. Them 185, 75, 14s wouldn't know what hit them. So I wanted to show y'all something I've noticed. Even though this is all dirty and oily, you can kind of see that aluminum ring from the head gasket. You can kind of see where it was sealed. Same thing there. You can kind of see a little bit of that line seal there. But when you get to number 1, it just kind of disappears right here. And I'm thinking right in here was more likely where it was sneaking in. It's all rusty right there. That's possibly what's going on. I might have to hit this with the wire wheel and assess that, because I don't know if that's pitted or not. Let me check it out. So I got a piece of flat stock and 100 grit sandpaper. And I just been going to town on the combustion chamber of number 1. And as you can see, this is what you want to see. See how everything's cleaning up nice and smooth? A little bit there, that might sand out a little bit more if you kept going. But this right here is a little concerning, especially when you get over in this spot, which might be the failure point from what I'm gathering. That is pretty pitted. So, I don't know, some more pitting here. Could keep going to see if the line itself disappears and smooths out with the rest of the aluminum. Unfortunately, I need to keep going to assess if this cylinder head is worth rebuilding. I know I said no machine work, but at minimum, we may have to possibly resurface that. I don't know what that costs. But I need to also take all the valves out and look at the valve seats and the valves themselves. If they're pitted up and won't clean up with any lapping compound, then I can tell you what, we're gonna retire this, and we may have to go to something like this. I will say this, the cylinders on the engine block, they do need to be rehomed, but there's hardly any piston ring ridge from that top ring. When it goes all the way up, it stops. They got excessive wear, they start developing a ridge. There's hardly anything there. I mean, it's very, very fine. I think it'll clean up with a dingle ball hone. So I think the bottom end will clean up, but I have not taken anything apart. I don't know if there's any damage to the pistons. I haven't seen that much yet. I'm still assessing this. I'm gonna go ahead and pretty much just tear all this down. I'm gonna remove the intake, and I gotta pull the cam off so the valves are all closed. Then I can clean up the surface and see what I'm working with. Vegas truck, I'm telling you, Vegas truck. You don't ever know what you're gonna get. What surprises do we have? It keeps going and going and going. And I'm starting to run out of energy. And money. Whew, that's even worse. I got work to do. Serenity now. Guys, over an hour trying to get these rocker shafts off. They will not budge. Now, as you can see, I've managed to get all those studs out, but these two are being the stubborn mules. I don't know if that's what's holding it down still. Maybe put a little heat down there, see if they budge. I soaked them in some get them loose juice. So I've been rotating the cam, see if it breaks it loose. I mean, I don't see anything holding it down. I don't know if you noticed that, but that piece goes right there. I'll use a little bubble gum later on to fix that, if I even continue with this crap. All right, guys, you're seeing where I'm at, and I'm getting frustrated. I had to take a break. Let me attack it one more time. Maybe that get them loose juice got it soaked in there, and maybe it'll break loose. Let me try one more time. Let's try again. Put the pinch on these two nuts. Come on, Jesus, help me out. Oh, that's not helping me out. But I ain't mad at you. Maybe you're telling me to quit messing with this stupid thing. Oh, man. We may have to heat her up. Break loose, come on. Nope. I don't know, guys. Maybe heating it up will get them studs to come loose. I don't know. But I've been messing with this for a long time, and I should have all this tore down by now. Are you seeing it? Vegas truck, live and in action. Oh, we found the reason why it won't come out. Look at all that crust. Let me show y'all what I'm looking at. Yeah, that's why it was stuck. Look at all that. Well, there's the cam right there. Is that a Lanati? What is that? No. It's just a stock Japanese cam. Makes about 80 horsepower when everything's right. I'm still wondering why I keep continuing on this engine. But I ain't got nothing else better to do on a Saturday. So I could just keep on disappointing myself. Oh yeah, look at all that crust. Yeah, that's why it's stuck in there, because these sleeves, these dowels or whatever you want to call it, are steel. Steel to steel, rusted up. don't know if I got a solution for it. Let's find out. I got two 12-inch nuts sandwiched in there. One last chance. Nope. There we go. There we go. That's what old Charlie wants to see. One last chance for you too. You gonna break loose? Oh, yeah. I think she got scared when she saw the other one get the heat. That's what old Charlie thought. You didn't want that heat, did you? No, you didn't. There it is. Now I gotta figure out how to take these valves out because I don't have the C-clamp looking thing, so I may have to get one of those. All right, I got some more work to do. All right, guys, I have been messing with this for about 30 minutes. It's a 60 grit. I was doing 100, but she just didn't have enough bite to her. It's cleaning up pretty good, all things considering. It'd be nice if everything turned out like that. And you know, it's a nice, smooth surface, but I mean, I don't know. I may have to work on it some more, but my arm's getting tired, so. You know what I think I might do? I think I might pull out number 3 cylinder, or number 3 piston, and see what it looks like off of that cylindre there, and assess that as well, before we call it a day. So let's push this number 3 piston up. This thing ain't got no resistance. N-O-N-E, none. Alright guys, the top ring was free, but the second one is stuck. It's still stuck. I'm trying to unstick it, and the oil rings are for sure stuck. Oh, at first glance, man, that should clean all up. I think that'll clean all up there. Alright, let's go ahead and push up number 2. No resistance, guys, none. The top ring was definitely free, and so was the second ring. Oil rings, nothing. They're stuck. Yeah, I don't think there was any Italian tune-ups, ATF, or any of that stuff was going to free that up. This was the stuck cylinder number 3. I mean, I got to do a better crosshatch once I get the crank out. I don't know, guys. Let me look at that a little bit more and I'll let y'all know. So what I'm about to do is show y'all how I remove these stuck rings from the pistons. You can apply this method to pretty much any piston, no matter if it's an Isuzu motor or some other turd engine that you're working on. Been letting these soak in automatic transmission fluid, and what it does is absolutely nothing, I think. Now I think it does do a little cleaning. This is the number 1 piston. The top and second ring are free. Top ring, second ring, not too bad. And if you're about to replace them, you break them, doesn't really matter. Different story with the oil rings. They're what I call stuck. But I do have a stuck ring piston removal tool. Now you may never seen one of these, but I got one. I'm going to show you how it works, and we'll get any stuck ring unstuck. So let me get this set up on the old bench vise right here, and we'll get them removed. So I got most of the oil wiped off. We got her set up in the vise. It would be a bad idea if you got a vise and you don't want to put them old vise marks off on your rod or anything else you might be working on that's metal or whatever. Build you some wooden blocks. That way you can put the pinch on it without damaging your metal or putting those indentation marks that vices tend to leave. Now, let me show you the removal tool. Now you may think this is some kind of torch, and you'd be correct, but it's also known as a stuck piston ring removal tool. Works very effective. Unlock, turn on the fire, and walk all the way around the old piston rings here. Take a hammer, cheap screwdriver, whatever you got. Some needle nose so you don't burn your hand. These are rusty. That one did not break. Sometimes even a pick will help you. There you go. Then once you get one off, the rest comes out. Now, once you got all your piston rings removed, take you a piece of broken piston ring, one of the top or second rings, and you can use it to dig all that crud off of there. Pretty easy, right? I didn't reinvent the wheel with this. I'm sure a lot of people use heat to remove stuck piston rings and stuff like that. If you don't own a map gas bottle, a little shut off torch valve, get you one. And get you an extra bottle or two, because you never know when you're going to need heat to remove stuck rusty piston rings, rusty bolt it won't remove. Whatever the case may be, you might need a little heat to remove something. So go ahead and invest in that. Also, just to keep safety in mind, make sure you wear safety glasses and have a fire extinguisher nearby. I had one about 10 feet away from me, so if it got hot around here, I could put the flame out real quick. So now that I got all the rusty, crusty piston rings removed from the pistons, I can go ahead and clean all this stuff up, and I guess if I wanted to, reassemble them with new piston rings, but that remains to be seen. Alright guys, it is a new morning, and let me show you the progress I made on the old cylinder head. It's getting there, guys. Some of this stuff, these little deep pits like that, won't go away. It'd take a lot of sanding to get that to go away, but a lot of that stuff is starting to disappear, and it's hardly any. It's just very little peppering there. A little bit there, and a little bit there. I'm going to keep working on it, see how much I can get out. But guys, I'm willing to lay a $20 bill on that cylinder head right now that's going to reseal. Assuming the block is flush as well and flat, I think that'll seal with a nice good head gasket. I've been sanding on this thing for about 2 hours. Not all at one piece, but sand as much as you can, take a break for about 2 hours or so, and it looks a whole lot better than it did when we first started. But what concerns me, now this ain't a very accurate straight edge, I'm assuming, but it's pretty, I don't know, 3/1000ths, which is max you ever want on any cylinder head, especially aluminum. Oh yeah. How is that even possible? I don't know. If you put it there, see, that, and that, you put it there, nothing goes under. Put it there, nothing goes in the middle. Yeah, we're doing it again over here. Low spots. But the funny thing is, I used a Marks-A-Lot, colored the whole center section, and as soon as I started sanding, it started going away. I even put some scratches, light scratches, just with the sandpaper going the other direction. Sanded right away. So what do I trust? I don't know. But let me show you what the old cylinder head looks like. That way you can get an up close look. So guys, there you go. That's number one cylinder combustion chamber. And I mean, all that pitting is starting to almost fade away. Some of the deeper ones won't go away unless this thing gets resurfaced or if I sand on it for 38 weeks. But I mean, all that stuff's starting to disappear. This is almost gone. There was a little bit here, it's now gone. Looks pretty good to me, but sometimes the chicken eye just ain't accurate. But this thing right here, you set it on there all day long, 3,000 feeler gauge. And I even tried a couple of more straight edges that I have. They're not necessarily for this, but they're pretty straight. Same results. 4,000 feeler gauge will not slide under there and get stuck. 3,000 all day long. We should get this resurfaced, but we don't do that. We keep wasting our time and putting a whole lot of energy and effort into sanding this thing until we get the same results we got 2 hours ago. That 3,000 feeler gauge will slide right off in there, don't you see? But no, I'm gonna keep sanding a little bit more. Guys, this is the Vegas truck. Let's gamble. I've never been to Vegas, have you? It's a Vegas truck, let's gamble. Let's keep sanding on a little bit more. We'll get us a nice quality head gasket. I got some of that copper head gasket spray. And we'll torque the cylinder head bolts about 70% of all of it. All the torque it can handle, don't you see? And then see what happens. If it leaks, then we've wasted our time and we'll have to pull the head off and then really get it resurfaced. But I kind of want to gamble and see if I fixed it. If I did, great. If I didn't, that means more money's got to be spent. All right, I'm gonna spend my time sanding on this for probably another, I don't know, 2, maybe 300 hours, and then we'll see where we're at that point. So I got this Mickey Mouse looking valve spring removal tool from Harbor Freight. It was 11 bucks, but it actually does work. Not very good. I am going to end up getting one of those C-clamp things when I start putting all this back together. I've been wanting to get that tool for a long time, so I just need to shell out the money and get one. As far as that exhaust valve, yeah, it needs to be replaced, and this cylinder head needs a valve job, or both, new valves and a valve job. It cleaned up really nice though. There was a lot of pitting that's now gone. Look at those valve seats. That looks pretty good. I would actually say that looks really good. I don't see no pitting. I don't see any issues with those valve seats. A true valve job done correctly, a valve will bounce when you let it go. Obviously these don't because they need a valve job. I had a little bit of a bounce there, not too bad. But it does make that good, nice clapping pop sound. So it is pretty concentric, but they do need to be, all this needs to be rebuilt, done correctly. I just don't want to put the money into it. This is, I mean, if I sell this truck, this whole engine may be thrown in the garbage and somebody's going to put an LS with three or four turbos on it. I don't know what they're going to do when I sell it, but I want the truck to be running and driving, stopping and going and doing all it's supposed to do when I sell it. So I'm going to try to keep going on this. So basically, I got 3 more cylinders to do, or if you do the math, I got 6 more valves. Alright guys, I'm going to get to it. Before I get ahead of myself cleaning this, I totally forgot to kind of show you what everything looked like coming apart. So there's number 4 cylinder. There really ain't a whole lot of carbon on there. I kind of wonder if that Italian tune-up I did in the last video helped that out or something. I don't know. That one's pretty clean too. Exhaust valves. I just cleaned that one up and I started thinking maybe I should show the guys that are watching, and gals possibly, on the old YouTubes. Well, y'all see the valves. Let me go ahead and clean up the rest of them, lap them all in, see what we're working with. I can't catch a break, guys. The old number 4 intake valve has what I call the wobble effect. As y'all saw earlier, she's not spinning straight and true. She has a little bit of a wiggle to her. And I don't know if you know anything about intake and exhaust valves. They can't do the wiggle. If you get the wiggle, you ain't gonna get the jiggle out the pipe. I can tell you that. So I need a new valve. At least one new valve, if not all new valves. If you buy one, do you just buy them all? I mean, them exhaust valves, they got some pitting to them. They're cleaning up pretty good. They're all concentric, meaning they spin round and true. The exhaust seats, the intake valve seats, and all that stuff look really good, except number 4 didn't clean up right because, I mean, the intake valve is not round, or it's not straight. I did check rockauto.com. I got a cart full of parts ready to click on send once I start investigating everything that needs to be done in this engine, but I haven't clicked on send yet. It looks like I'm going to need to add an intake valve at minimum. They do have 2 on clearance for like $3 a piece, so I might just buy both for whatever reason. They don't have any exhaust valves for sale, so I'd have to get those somewhere else, or do I just get somewhere else and buy a whole set of valves, which would entail I need to go get a valve job, which would lead me to go ahead and have the head resurfaced, which would probably mean I'm wasting my money on this engine. And I said earlier in this video, I don't want to do any machine work. But with that cylinder head being just a little bit off on the warpage, you know, to save headaches for later, we may need to do that. And I still need to check the block. So I still got to pull the engine block out and make sure it's flat and true and straight and square and all that stuff. It never ends. It seems like it's never going to end. So guys, what I need to do is go ahead and call it for the day. Go inside the house, sit my butt off in my recliner, have me a nice cold glass of iced tea, and take the old noodle to Thinking Town and think about what I'm going to do with this. Do I want to keep going, or do I want to find a different alternative? Alright guys, when I do that, the next time you see me, I will have a decision for y'all on what I'm going to be doing. Alright guys, well, after several weeks of consideration, I finally made a decision on what I'm going to do with the old Vegas truck. That's right, we're retiring the Isuzu motor because she needs too much. So guess what? I got this sold. The guy will pick it up as soon as I get it out. So, I got a lot of work to do today to get this thing out, because I can tell you right now, some of you guys are probably going to be excited because I got a motor for this thing. And she has 4 cylinders on one side and 4 cylinders on the other side. Oh yes. Small block Chevy. Let's go. Well, I might have to heat it up. That shaft is long. Yeah, that yoke don't look too bad. Ain't worn out. Cut off. 14. Oh, there we go. Yeah, there's stuff in there.
Bag.
Ready to go.
That thing looks like empty.
Uh-huh. All right.
And you can take that out?
Yep. Wow. Wow. Wee. That's something.
Guys, the ratio on your oil pan, you want 20% of the oil in the pan and 80 on the floor, so looks like I achieved that ratio. Oh yeah, we got her dangling off the chain, guys, ready for pickup. Guys should be here in about 10 minutes. So I thought I'd do a real quick video of this old rusty, dusty, crusty mess. There you go. I debated on whether I was going to let him have that dirt dauber or not. I thought about keeping it, but you know what? I'll go ahead and leave it on there. That way the new owner can enjoy it and do what he needs to do with it. Well, guys, it's going to be nice to finally get my workbench back. I got the intake and carb over here, cylinder heads, valve cover. I got the pistons over here. I got brackets. Man, I got so much stuff in the way. Be glad to get all this stuff out of here. That way we can make room for that small block Chevy. Guys, I can't wait when it's time to put that old small block Chevy in. It's going to be pretty fun, I think. It's going to be a different scenario. I've always wanted to have a Chevy Love with a small block Chevy. Remember a kid from high school had one, and he smoked the tires all the time. I thought it was the neatest thing in the world. Small truck with a V8. Well, that dream's finally going to come true. I don't know if it was a dream, but I always thought it'd be cool to own a Chevy Love with a V8. That's what's going to happen. I'm putting a V8 in that thing finally. So for all you guys who's finally excited to see the process on that, that's what's happening. V8, small block, Chevrolet. Oh yeah, very approved in my book. Alright guys, there it is. She's a little crusty. This is a small block Chevy, 327 cubic inches. Believe it or not, she's got double hump heads. The accessory hole mount double hump heads. I think these are a little on the later model side. I don't know what this engine came out of, but it must be a California engine because it's got a small pump on it. Big old giant air compressor for your AC. I would assume that doesn't work. I do have an extra set of manifolds at the house, so I can eliminate this. Might be able to sell it and make a little money off of it, who knows. I will need to get a flywheel, or technically flex plate, so we're going to be using automatic transmission. There it is. We'll get her cleaned up and dialed in. And also, a TH 350 short tail shaft. Supposedly, this transmission is good, and it's supposed to have a higher stall converter. So I may be changing that to maybe like a 2000 stall converter or something. I don't know yet. Definitely have to drop the oil pan and change it. Check, see how much crap's on the bottom of it. Hopefully this is a good transmission and I don't have to mess with it. Looks like Performance Transmissions out there in Kennedale, Texas built this transmission. Never heard of them, but hopefully they did a good job. There it is, guys. 327 turbo 350 Vegas truck. Now you know the power plant. Alright guys, it's a new morning. I'm back home from hanging out with Trey and working on his truck. The old 327's here, along with that turbo 350. Trey, I really do appreciate you letting me have this stuff. I did not pay anything. He just gave this stuff to me, so I really appreciate it. And I'm enjoying hanging out with you, working on your Freedom truck. So there's gonna be a little bit more work on that in the future. So guys, stay tuned. All right, now I gotta get this stuff unloaded from the truck. Gonna be a fun day today. Dang, look at that. Look how skinny that thing is from all the rust. That definitely was on some kind of Jenny Craig diet there. Real skinny. I was going to use that loading plate that's right on that 283 and just bolt that on and lift it up. But with those being all rusted out and skinny like that, I might have to figure out something else. Maybe use this or something. I also got some chain if I need to use that. We'll figure it out. One way or the other, we'll get that thing unloaded. I promise you. first time I've had this tailgate open. Look at this thing. Ah, man. Boy, that thing's really tacoed up, ain't it? Alright guys, I got everything over here in the corner pocket. So now all I need to do is go ahead and clean out the truck bed and kind of put everything back where it was so I can sneak the old Taco Gate truck back in the garage. It's going to be a good day, I'm telling you, good day. So I'm about to start working on Trey's Quadrajet for his 1984 Chevy C10, also known as the Freedom Truck. Now me and him did a Will It Run video. So if you want to see that, please check out my channel. Find that video. It's a blue Silverado. It says Will It Run after 20 years. We did get her up and running, but that old QJ just needs a little TLC, so that's where I'm stepping in. But that's a separate video. I'm pretty much wrapping up the video on the old Vegas truck. There it is, guys. 327, turbo 350, behind a radiator that unfortunately I no longer need. So I need to put that on the old FB market, sell that thing, and try to recoup most of my money back. Sometimes that happens. So if you want to see an in-depth series of videos on a small block Chevy swap and a Chevy Love, then you need to tune in to my channel. Because I've been on YouTube and I've skimmed videos and I cannot find a good set of videos with small block Chevy swap to a Chevy Love. So maybe old Charlie is going to be the first one to do an in-depth series of that. So stay tuned, click subscribe, that way you can be updated on the old process of the mug. Because I can tell you what, at times we're going to have to bust out that chicken eye, but we're going to get it dialed in. So the next video, guys, we're diving right off into that thing, find out what it all needs. I already got a camshaft for it and some lifters. Actually, I got two cams. One's a solid lift cam, but that's for that 283 that I plan on rebuilding someday and putting it back in the old 66. But that's going to be for another time, at another date, possibly even another year. Alright, there you have it. 327, turbo 350, 1976 Chevy Love. Alright guys, like I always say, until then, thanks for watching. And Trey, I'm about to dive right off in the old QJ, as of right now. Let's do it.